The Black Wealth Attainment and Retention Programs helps our community acquire, sustain, and pass down legacy wealth. High school seniors can apply for this year's scholarship awards at parksideedc.org. Scholarships will be awarded at Parkside EDC's Gospel/Jazz Brunch on Sunday, April the 27th. For details, tickets, or donations, please visit parksideedc.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
First things first.
First things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule, 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not to unsettle you. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Tag Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the movement. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis.
First things first.
KBLA Talk 1580. Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. The show is called First Things First, and my very first thing today on a Freedman Friday, giving thanks, giving praises, and asking for blessings from God, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders, and turning it up, all the way up. So the way we do things on a Friday, the third hour of the show is you never know. It's a grab bag, and today we'll be getting an update on the grim sleeper, the serial killer who shook South L.A., and what is being done posthumously to deal with that horrible historical event. Some stuff taking place this weekend. Our two Freedman Friday, of course, our weekly deep dive, our comprehensive reparations conversation. Dr. Adrienne Davis will be joining me. She is an internationally respected scholar and a law professor as well. Right now, it's every other Friday, so my friend and colleague, KBLA contributor and labor activist Sherri Bell joins in the studio. Good morning, Sherri.
Good morning, Dominique. How are you and how everybody out there listening? Hope you're doing well.
I'm good. I'm ready for the weekend. Mm-hmm. How about you?
Yeah, I'm definitely ready for the weekend. For some folks, they have a 3-day weekend.
What? It's Cesar Chavez Day. So how could I forget? Happy Cesar Chavez Day.
Same to you.
In the labor space, that's even bigger than other spaces, right?
Right, definitely. I know, Akili is like a regular on the show, and he actually organized alongside Cesar Chavez. So, we all connected.
Which is amazing.
Right?
Back when we were less confused, well, I don't know if I can say that, but I feel like the solidarity between the United Farm Workers Union under Cesar Chavez and the way that they were supported and supportive of Black liberation movements is something we could definitely take a page from today.
Definitely could take a page from that solidarity building with them and others, from back in the day with the, Chinese movement. A lot of those movements borrowed from the teachings of the Black Panthers and, tenets of community organizing.
Yeah, the Black Panthers, Reverend James Lawson. I mean, all of our struggle has translated around the world.
Oh, yes.
This is something that I don't think some of the young, even older, but younger activists may be aware of. When I travel in Africa, especially Ghana, but we saw it in Tanzania as well. African American activists and icons are revered.
Really?
We were at the Slave River, which is a site in Ghana, which was one of the last places where enslaved people, our enslaved ancestors, were taken. And they were to bathe before they went into the dungeon.
Oh, wow.
They call it Essene River, which means
Jeez.
the slave river. There's monuments, these giant portraits of Malcolm X and Dr. King and all of these Black American leaders. Now, of course, they have Kwame Nkrumah and Julius Nyerere, but to me, I wasn't expecting that. We're in the middle of the country at this slave river. They have the grave of an enslaved person that they recovered from this country and buried in the motherland. And then they have all these Black American leaders. And you see it. I saw it in Nigeria at Fela Kuti's shrine. We saw it in Tanzania at the Slave Museum there. So I think, at least in Africa, the understanding that Black American leadership is a moral compass for the world is not unknown.
Wow. I mean, I was today years old when I when I found that out. So that's great. I mean, to know that, like, that goes to show you never know, like, who is inspired by you, right? Like the actions that you take, a lot of courage, and so that's very good to know.
Yeah. LA Times has a story front page of today's Times, and it's funny, why do I go from Africa to that? Because I travel to Africa every year. If I come up missing on the way home, I mean, they are snatching people up coming in and out of the country and off of these streets, and now apparently the international students here in California have been warned that you could be deported because the Trump administration with Homeland Security, which shouldn't even be a thing anymore. 9/11 is long past over.
The way they're utilizing it is despicable, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, what do you mean when you say that?
Well, I mean, they're using it as a guy. First of all, it was something waiting, like, the Patriot Act is something like to invade our privacy. But now they're using it to, do mass deportations in an inhumane way. They're using that agency. And actually, all government agencies, they're not really using them. They're there to dismantle them, right? So, the immigration piece is probably going to happen, even though they're going to defund the Department of Homeland Security. But the way that they're going about it with the commercials, I don't know if anybody's seen the commercials.
I haven't seen them.
Oh, okay. So you got Kristi Noem, who's the new head.
Oh, I saw her posing in front of a Salvadoran prison on Instagram.
Too. Yeah. But
gross.
Just the commercials, it's used to like incite fear, and the security that they are taunting is not really what is needed, because basically, like, they're talking about people, they want to deport people who are like criminals, so to speak.
That's what they said initially, but now they're deporting student protesters.
Right.
Yeah, and so that's why they're saying to California students, if you protested against Israel's war, if you joined an anti-war protest, you could be deported.
So it's like a backlash, a retaliation of sorts.
Yeah, but it's so insidious, because if you protested against the war, they're going to use their propaganda wing to say you're pro-Hamas.
Right, like they did back in the day when you're communist.
Right.
It's the same old thing.
Yeah, the McCarthy era. And that's pretty much what it is on steroids. They're talking about this one student who moved out of his apartment and changed his address so he couldn't be found, doesn't go to social events, because he doesn't want to be snatched up off the street. And I don't know, did you see Marco Rubio? He was talking, he was visiting Guyana, and he was, wow, Marco Rubio, who is the son of immigrants from Cuba, just sounded like full-throated fascist.
I mean, well, a lot of people who fled Cuba back in the day that came to Florida, a lot of them were like anti-revolutionary.
Yeah, they're super true. And he's from fruit from that tree, but still.
Right.
He said that they've deported over 300 students out. I've only heard, reporting on 3 or 4, maybe 7. But he said there's been at least 300 students who whose visas have been revoked for protesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's very crazy, and it's like people sell their souls to be in these positions. And I think just we're in an area where we just got to challenge misinformation, because people in these positions just flat out lie, right, to deport people. And while they deporting people, we're spending so much money to house these detainees, and we're facing tariffs and all these things that are supposedly to make America great again, that he's taunting, make America wealthy again. And none of these things are happening. And I really just think that we need to name it and speak out. But it is despicable that they're doing that. And I hope that those judges keep, trying to block these heinous acts, by this current administration.
Yeah, I mean, I hope they do too. But if you're Mahmoud Khalil, you've been detained since March 8th. Yeah. For just simply supporting the anti-war efforts.
Yeah, where are the activists at, right? Like, before the Hamas bombed Israel, you had activists who are a part of the Jewish community, that are not pro Netanyahu. Like, right. I'm wondering where those voices are.
I've been seeing massive protests from the Jewish.
Oh, that's good.
The Jewish anti-Netanyahu, fascist coalition. I've been seeing a lot.
That's
it's
good
just
to see. Yeah.
I don't think CNN and MSNBC, I don't think the mainstream media is reporting it. I see it on social media. I see it on Democracy Now. That's where I see it.
Yeah.
So it means it's happening, but you have to look for it. And
oh, well, that's good to know.
But it's sad because the mainstream media has been intimidated, or maybe they are doing what they've always wanted to do and not reporting on this.
I mean, now you're really getting to see why billionaires buy media outlets. You're really getting to see how they're flexing their muscles when it's a time of crises, and what they choose to show and what choose what not to show.
Yeah. Well, it's bad when UCLA Faculty for Justice had to put out a memo saying, don't say anything to ICE, don't sign anything, tell them to speak to your attorney. Please have a stamped, pre-addressed envelope to someone you trust with you in the event of an ICE arrest. You can send the mail to alert them you have been detained.
So because these folks protested a war and genocide, they're automatically pro-terrorist and being detained without due process.
Yeah, it's terrifying, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, I will not live in fear. So
right. Right. Yeah.
Read between the lines. I mean, I feel like, if we believe what we believe, then we have to stand for what we stand for.
Right. Well, I mean, we're in an area like, some of the key components of like community organizing are agitation and hope. Right. So like we're in this point where we getting all this information from everywhere. Right. Every day it's something new, like signal chats with war plans being leaked and all this crazy information that we're hearing. We're probably going to talk about some other stuff later.
Yeah.
But it's just that we got to protect our mental health, number one. Right. Number two, we just have to wake up. When we wake up, just remember who we are. Right. Who we are, what we've been through. Our legacy, what's running through our veins every day, right? And then also just try to find a pathway to take action and wherever we can to try to combat some of these acts that are happening right now with this administration, that are perpetuating fear and divisiveness.
I mean, that is a good point. This young woman, Yun Seo Chow, who's a 21-year-old student, they said they were revoking her green card, and the courts have stopped it for now. We'll see. They've halted her deportation. They've stopped the seizure of her green card. She was, protesting. But the girl, Rumayesa Ozturk, I'm probably saying it wrong, but it was shown on video, these masked, plainclothes,
weird
Homeland Security folks just walk up on her and just snatch her. It looks like she's being kidnapped. And luckily someone filmed it. But, I guess what do? You hand that letter to a bystander and say, drop this in the mail for me? So because otherwise, how will anyone know where you are? If you're not famous, where are these other 300 people?
That's a lot of
students.
people.
Where are they?
Yeah.
Is anyone tracking them? Do their parents know they're in ICE custody? a lot of questions come up. I know we're supposed to be talking local, but anyway, Sherri Bell is here. You're welcome in 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. That's the number, and you can get in the YouTube thingy. The comments are always rather robust. We typically look at them during the show. It's KBLA 1580. On YouTube, I'm Dominique DiPrima. She's Sherri Bell, and this is KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward. Before the fire, Altadena was a real-life Wakanda. A thriving black oasis just 15 miles from downtown Los Angeles. 80% black residents were homeowners, building intergenerational wealth against the odds. It was a hub of black-owned businesses, churches, and cultural institutions. It stood as a symbol of black resilience and economic independence. Then, in a matter of hours, it was gone. The fire tore through homes, swallowed businesses, and left behind a painful void. But was it just an unstoppable act of nature, or was negligence involved? Did officials ignore early warning signs? Were the response efforts delayed or insufficient? What role, if any, did corporate or government failures play? Survivors are demanding answers. Don't miss our KBLA Talk 1580 Town Hall. The Eden Altadena Fire, 100 days and counting, on Wednesday, April 16th, 4 to 6 p.m. at the Robinson Park Recreation Center, 1081 North Fair Oaks in Pasadena. Join Dominique DiPrima, Nee Cordelai Corte, James Farr, Tavis Smiley, and a panel of survivors, community leaders, and experts as we commemorate Day 100 since the wildfires flared up. And we discuss where we go from here. It's KBLA's Eden Altadena Fire, 100 days and counting Town Hall, Wednesday, April 16th, 4 to 6 p.m. at the Robinson Park Recreation Center in Pasadena. Light refreshments to follow. Admission is free, but sign-up is required at our KBLA1580.com website. This is a community call to action, brought to you by KBLA Talk 1580 and Quinn Emanuel Trial Lawyers. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Individual results may vary. Consult a doctor prior to use.
If you've struggled to lose weight in the past, this important message is for you because you could lose as much as 50 pounds or more with Zelfie. Zelfie makes it easy and affordable to get weight loss treatment 100% online. Zelfie providers can prescribe FDA-approved GLP-1 weight loss medications clinically shown to help people lose weight like Wegovy, Zepbound, and others. Plus, help get the medication covered by insurance so it's as little as $0 a month.
The doctors are super helpful, and the meds have been a game changer. It's the first program I've had success with.
Before Zelfie, I was unable to lose weight, even though I was eating healthy and exercising 6 days a week. Zelfie helped me not only lose weight, but I feel so much better.
Text GOAL to 200-300 to get started today with Zelfie and see if weight loss medications like Wegovy or Zepbound are right for you. Don't wait. Text now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text GOAL to 200-300. That's GOAL to 200-300. GOAL to 200-300.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now, morning routines. Sherri got coffee. I have sea moss.
That's healthier than
whatever it takes to get you, whatever gets you through the day is
Right.
the point, right? All right. Yeah, I'm on my sea moss now because I think it makes my brain better. Anyway, 800-920-1580 is the number if you would like to weigh in. And, we've talked a lot about these attacks on the mayor of our city, Karen Bass. She's doing a great job. She's not getting the credit. She's getting the old black woman treatment. But it's interesting to me, they slammed her so hard for having her text messages on auto delete. I even saw YouTubers trying to insinuate that she was a criminal because she was deleting her text messages. Well, now they got some app and they recovered the text messages and they've deleted the text messages and they show what?
They show normal communication, like in an emergency, like somebody like rushing back to town and, getting updates and just, nothing scandalous
and
or
communicating
salacious
with her staff and
right.
dealing with a certain amount of technical difficulty, which is normal. But
working.
Right. And doing a great job,
Right.
doing what she's supposed to be doing as mayor. Right. So I have two things about that, Sherri. Where is the freaking front page headline in the LA Times? Mayor was doing her job.
Right.
Text messages show nothing. No. They like to if it bleeds, it leads. They insinuate that there's something nefarious and then hide their hands. Oh,
Right.
well, we were wrong, but we're going to put that in 2 sentences on page 37 of the paper.
Right. There's no scandal, that's not newsworthy, but.
Right. Trust and believe if she had said one single thing they found to be undermining of her, it would be on the front page of the cover.
Yeah.
No, they don't say we were wrong and we're a bunch of insinuating, sensationalist billionaires who are trying to take down a black woman. They don't say that.
Right.
It ticks me off, Ms. Bell.
I mean, she's a professional. She's been working in this industry a long time. I have confidence in her that she's not stupid enough, to be saying stuff on a. But yeah, you're right. The news media likes to, I remember that we were talking about MRT in the Times and how they used to do these hit pieces
Mark
on
Ridley
him.
Thomas, for those who are not following the bouncing ball,
right.
our former councilman and supervisor. Yeah, and now. That's a great point because on that case, they're saying he actually has a really good chance of overturning those charges. I've heard that from observers who were in the courtroom for the legal presentation of that appeal, and we're waiting for results.
Yeah, hopefully, because I know the other guy that was trying the case, he's no longer there, I don't believe. I think they got an interim U.S. attorney. But but the point is, when especially in this climate, when you have a black person in power, you do have a lot of heat. But I'm glad that the text messages, vindicated the mayor for just doing normal mayoral stuff. And it is a shame that that the headlines are not lifting up the fact that, she was pretty much cleared of any kind of, misconduct.
Right. It was, okay, she deleted her text messages. Transparency folks don't want you to do that. But it's not like she went in and deleted them.
Right.
I didn't even know there was an auto delete. Maybe I should put that. But, what is it? To your point, it shows her doing her job.
Right.
And when you look back, because so much of the critique of our mayor has been based on innuendo, right? They are mad because of what? What were they actually critiquing her for? Going to Ghana,
right?
Which was, she was requested to go there by Biden. She was on business trip. She wasn't vacationing on the lovely beaches of Elmina.
She's been there 2 years. She's got crime rates down. She's improved homelessness numbers, and the fire recovery is ahead of schedule. So, I mean, what else? Next,
I mean, I couldn't have put it better than that, Sherri. Those are the basics.
Yeah.
You wanted her to get houselessness down? Guess what? It's down 2 years in a row.
Leave that lady alone right now.
Do a doggone job.
Gosh.
Yeah, but I also love what you said. She's a professional. That's why I think she's the best person. I would trust to be leading our city during an emergency like a fire, during an economic downturn, and during a time when we're dealing with a lunatic administration.
The Jerry Springer show, we're dealing with
that's exactly what
we're dealing with trash TV in Washington, D.C. right now. I'm telling you.
The Jerry Springer administration. Yeah. I love it. But I think he was a little more entertaining. But
loud.
I mean, literally nothing to see here, but they won't say that. And it really makes me angry, Sherri. I'm not going to lie.
Well,
I'm tired of seeing our black women disparaged, undervalued, doing stuff that no one else can do and not getting credit for it. So I'm going to keep talking about it. Here's something very ironic. The Department of Justice is investigating the LA County Sheriff's Department.
Oh.
They say that they're violating people's gun rights because they charge too much and take too long to issue concealed carry gun permits. They're not investigating the sheriff's gangs or the sheriff's refusal to comply with subpoenas from the Oversight Commission. They are investigating possible abuse of Second Amendment rights. Yeah, arm LA. Like, what?
Yeah.
That's your goal.
No, it's just like the GOP conservative, like, amplifying some of those campaign points that, that they like to lift up around the NRA, how.
So you think it's just stunting more than
I
anything?
just think it's political. Yeah, I think like it's a political.
That's probably true. Because, I was going to run out and try to get a concealed carry while they're handing, I'm a big 2A proponent.
Right.
But I just don't know that LA is the place where you need more and more people carrying concealed weapons.
It's so weird. Like when you go to other states and you can see people's guns on their
Yeah.
hips.
Yeah.
Like in Atlanta, I was so shocked. I was coming from Slutty Vegan, just getting a burger, and I see this young dude getting in the car, and then he just get in the car, I see the gun on the tip. I'm like,
Because you're not used to it. Well, they got him here. You just don't see him.
Right. I feel like
pat him down, you might find something.
I don't know the data on if having a concealed weapon contributes to crime rate, because I always thought it might not, because if you're not going to shoot nobody, if they probably got a gun too, they probably got a gun. So
well,
I don't know.
I haven't seen the data on that either. And I am a proponent of the Second Amendment. I just know that under this administration, even if they do make it easier to get concealed carry, guess who ain't getting it?
Right, of course.
Guess who ain't getting it?
Of course.
So what they're really saying is we want to arm white supremacists. They're not saying, sure, Dominique, you need to protect yourself. Here's a concealed carry.
That'd be DEI trying to make sure certain people get those things. We don't want that.
It's just like what we're seeing with the deportations. And the revoking of visas. It's not white folks.
Oh no
white folks.
Immigration is a word they should just.
And even the loss of jobs at the Department of Education, disproportionately black.
Right.
Okay, we got news, traffic, and sports. We're gonna keep it talking, keep it moving. Sherri Bell, Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. 3 out of 4 Americans, including 60% of Republicans, see the Trump administration's use of a Signal group chat for military plans as a serious issue. This follows a breach involving the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic. Former NFL running back LaShawn Johnson faces federal charges in a dogfighting case involving 190 seized dogs. He faces 21 counts with a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine per count. The FBI says one of the top leaders of the MS-13 gang has been arrested in Virginia. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi says the takedown was a joint operation between the FBI, ATF, ICE, the VSP, and Prince William County Police. And rapper Lil Durk releases his album Deep Thoughts from jail, where he awaits trial for an alleged murder-for-hire scheme. The 20-track album features Future and Lil Baby and is streaming now. Get BIN News on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The LA Sparks are making plans to retire Candace Parker's number 3 jersey. The ceremony for the WNBA legend is scheduled for halftime of the Sparks' June 29th game against the Chicago Sky at Crypto.com. Parker played 13 of her 16 WNBA seasons with the Sparks. The 5-time All-Star led the Sparks to 3 WNBA championships, was MVP in 2008, and Defensive Player of the Year in 2020. Parker is the 3rd Sparks player to have her jersey retired. She joins Lisa Leslie and Penny Toller. During her career with the Sparks, Parker averaged 16.9 points and 8.6 rebounds. Parker holds the Sparks franchise record in assists with 1,331. Today is opening day for Major League Baseball. The Dodgers are at home against the Detroit Tigers. The Dodgers are trying to become the first team in 25 years to win 2 straight World Series. The Yankees did it in 2000. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
At the tone, please record your message.
You ready? Drop it!
Mr. Tavis Smiley, preach it. Thank you, man. Politics in this country is crazy. You put things in perspective that even I didn't. The right is playing fast and loose with facts and scapegoating everyone under the sun, especially black and brown people. As a white man, I do not agree with this, and I am on my black and brown brothers and sisters' side. Fight the good fight. Know that I am part of the resistance. Let's fight the power.
Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. At Exquisite Family Mortuary, we know how overwhelming it can be planning a meaningful farewell for your loved one. Secure your peace of mind by calling Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. That's Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. From traditional funeral services to memorials to direct cremation, pre-needs, and more. Call Charlotte White at Exquisite Family Mortuary for Southern hospitality in Southern California. That's Charlotte White at 323-577-5562. Exquisite Family Mortuary is located nearby in Inglewood, California. Exquisite Family Mortuary, where your loved one becomes our loved one.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your Senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Stories are power. The Black Land Lost Narrative Archive Project is an effort to collect, preserve, and amplify stories of Black land loss. It will form an invaluable resource for scholars, authors, historians, educators, storytellers, policymakers, and change agents who wrestle with issues of restitution, reparations, racial inequality in home ownership, and the racial wealth gap. Through documenting stories of Black land loss, the archive will help demonstrate the magnitude of what Black families have lost and will continue the national dialogue to encourage paths to restitution, rebuilding, and healing. Support the Black Land Lost Narrative Archive Project by visiting www.blacklandlost.org or by donating at www.blacklandlost.org/donate. Spread the word to inspire awareness, activism, leadership, and change. And join us in making a lasting impact. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
I always love it when Sherri Bell is in the building. It's fun to be on the air with your friend who happens to be quite knowledgeable about so many things. So you got to think. Well, boy, my vocabulary, where did it go today? I don't know. It's on vacation until Monday. What's happening? You have an event coming up.
Yeah, I have an event. So I'm a member of the LA Black Worker Center. We're hosting an event on Saturday, April 5th. Breakfast will be served at 10:30, and the discussion and event will start at 11 a.m. It's going to be at 5350 Crenshaw Boulevard. The link to register is in my bio. There's going to be a race on that day, so parking is going to be tricky, but once you get the registration, you can park on 11th Ave. Basically, the event is like there's a lot going on in the media right now, trying to clear up misinformation, trying to give people a chance to be heard and find out ways that they can do things to take action, right? So we're going to have a panel discussion with the vice president of the Government Association Union, Akili and Nikki Okuk. We're going to be having a robust discussion, and people get a chance to do Q&A. And yeah.
So kind of like a panel town hall breakfast.
Yes.
And we need that fellowship. I mean, I feel like we need to come together for stuff like that, just to be encouraged, to network, and get some defense mechanisms to know what to do in what situation.
Exactly. Yep.
So 5350 Crenshaw, breakfast at 10:30, events at 11. We need to register.
Yes, yeah, it's preferred that you register. So we can have a head count, and then you'll be able to add it to your calendar. So again, that's Saturday, April 5th. If you go to my Instagram, Sherri de la Ghetto, you can go to my bio, and the link to register for the event is there. And we would love to, have you out and hear from you.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a great event, and you'll be there.
Yes, I will be there. Yeah.
All right, so it's a chance to connect, and it sounds like it's in a long time, but that's actually next week.
Yeah, yeah, perfect timing.
April 2025.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's next week. Which reminds me, Monday is the deadline. If you haven't registered for FEMA yet, and you were impacted by the fires, either one. If you need to register with the unemployment department, you've lost your job or had business impacts, you got to do it by Monday. If you are thinking you might need a home loan or something from the Small Business Association, a business loan related to the fires, you got to do it by Monday, the 31st. It's the extended deadline for all of this stuff. They ain't going to extend it again. And if you don't get in the system, they're going to, they're not going to give you the assistance.
Spread the word.
Yeah. That's a big one. All right, so talk to me about this crazy story we were looking at yesterday. This is national, but I feel like it's also local because it's just more attacks on history. They are going after the funding for the Smithsonian. Now, okay, why do I care about the Smithsonian? Well, the African American Museum in Washington, D.C. is part of the Smithsonian.
Right.
And also what they're saying, it's because it's propagating divisive race-based ideology. So part of this executive order, they're talking about defunding the Smithsonian museums and putting back up all of the Confederate statues that we took down in 2020.
So if this isn't if this isn't racism, I don't know what is. I had the opportunity and pleasure to go into that museum last summer, and it's a beautiful space, three to four levels. It's like a love letter and an ode to organizing. It goes through all the social justice movements, and it definitely tells the truth of our country and how people power helped gain a lot of people rights. And so what they mean by divisiveness, I guess they mean by highlighting this country's ugly history of racism, segregation, and slavery. Because if you want to not be divisive, the way to do that is not getting rid of the history of the country. However, they know that. Right. They know that what they're doing is wrong. They know that what they're doing is racist. And at this point, we really just need these judges and people that can stop these things and deem them unconstitutional and deem them whatever they need to do legally, a legal fight. First of all, us at the bottom, right? The people. The only way to really overturn these dictatorships and these racist moves is the people power, right? So that's why we need to get together and talk and apply pressure. But also these judges, they have to remember why they went to school and why they wanted to do what they needed to do. And we need them to be basically like the Avengers right now.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think that's right. So that executive order is called Restoring Truth and Sanity to American History.
Double talk.
It directs the vice president to remove improper ideology from the Smithsonian's 19 museums and the National Zoo in Washington, D.C.
Wow.
And seeks the Department of the Interior to restore public monuments and statues that were removed or changed to, quote, perpetuate a false reconstruction of American history, inappropriately minimize the value of certain historical events or figures, or include any other improper partisan ideology.
You know what? They lying about everything they just said, just like they lying about that Signal group chat. Those are all lies, right? Yeah. Everything in there is just made up and it's not truthful. And that's why, when we're looking at the media and when we hear our president and vice president and defense secretary talk, about 90% of what they're saying is not true. So all that verbiage is basically inaccurate and false. And then you could see that a lot of dishonesty when you with the signal chat, that's just one example. We're not discussing war plans, and then you see all the things, and then you hear that, right? That statement that you just read about improper ideology and not telling the truth. It's just, everything's a lie. And I hope that people continue, and we need to call people out on these lies and misinformation at every chance that we get. And I also want to add this, Dominique. I think that it's really important for us to not only lift up and call out how this current administration and political climate is impacting Black folks, right? Because it's not only basically because if we're the only people, right, that's going to lift up things that are impacting us ourselves. We're only people going to fight for us truly, right? However, I do think it's equally as important in this moment in our history to lift up how other people are being impacted as well. I think we need data and statistics on how these current administration decisions are impacting non-Blacks, whites, women's, and lift up the damage and magnitude and the gravity of what this administration is doing, from the funding cuts to the layoffs. Because during slavery, a lot of poor white farmers, and even now in this election, right, people think that they are a part of this good old boys club and they're a part of the rich elite and a part of the plan to make America great. But what they really want to do is just make rich people richer. That was the whole plan in the formation of this country, to make the rich richer, and never intended for us to be free and be a part of this country. And we kind of messed up their plans. And but poor non-Blacks need to also understand that they were never really a part of the plan either. And so every chance we get, we need to find some data and educate them that hold up, swole up. You're getting screwed too.
Yeah. And I think that's going to become more and more obvious, to be honest with you, as the farm subsidies are being defunded through USAID. That food that was going overseas to help starving people was being purchased from U.S. farmers, and they're losing that customer. They're losing that income. They're losing workers. You see how they're and this started before the election, loosening up standards on child labor. And I said it. I said they're doing this because they know they're getting ready to deport the workforce.
You talking about Florida?
Florida and Louisiana. Ugh. And actually Arkansas too. Mm-hmm. Arkansas did that before the election. Mm-hmm. They want to replace immigrants with children. How does that make America great?
It's trying to go back to the pre-industrial revolution. They're trying to roll back. What they mean by great is I get to exploit people for maximum profit and use racial capitalism as my means of economic gain.
Did you see the clip? I'll show it to you if you didn't. Elon Musk talking on Fox News. He says, and he points his two fingers like this, and he looks like a madman, and says, we're going after people who attack Tesla, and we're going after the people that tell them to do it, the people that inspire them to do it, the people that aren't people like you and me, Sherri. We're going after them. And it's so, he sounds like, well, first of all, he looks like he's high on ketamine or something. He's got cotton mouth and all kinds of bulgy eye things going on. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, he's also saying the president has been very clear. We're going after these people. So people speak ill of your car company can now be arrested, because he didn't say people vandalizing it.
Right.
He said people that are spreading lies, that are making people do this.
Right. And Pat Bondi, the attorney general's trying to, Pam, saying that.
She can be Pat. I don't care.
Try to say people who attack Teslas are domestic terrorism, and Jasmine Crockett is inspiring domestic terrorism, but people who attack our nation's capital are not. And then you talked about giving them reparations, and you already gave them pardons.
Yeah, I mean, I can see talking about Tesla and protesting Tesla. I don't see vandalizing them, because why would you risk going to jail as a terrorist to tear up somebody else's car?
How? Well,
because they are going to charge them as terrorists.
Mm.
And that's a long sentence. I'm just saying.
Right.
800-920-1580 if you want to weigh in. Sherri Bell and Dominique DiPrima, unapologetically outspoken, unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580 is an intervention. When we come forward, includes you. KBLA Talk 1580, turning pain into power.
For all of us, this generation and the next, there is simply no place in our lives for litter. And yet, it's everywhere we look. And unfortunately, it does belong to all of us. So, let's come together and create a litter-free, clean California, once and for all. Remember to properly dispose of your trash and recycling. Secure truckloads with tarps to keep debris from flying out. Clean out your car when you're at a gas station. Take pride in your community by organizing a cleanup event. Or join a cleanup event near you. Zero litter is the goal. Join us at cleanca.com. That's cleanca.com. Let's do it together. Brought to you by Caltrans. cleanca.com.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The Los Angeles Regional Food Bank is on a mission to fight hunger and provide nutritious food to those in need across our community. They partner with federal, state, and local programs advocating for better policies and funding for critical hunger relief programs like Cal Fresh, the Emergency Food Assistance Program, and the Child and Adult Care Food Program. The food bank works with coalitions and local representatives to make sure hunger is addressed in every district of LA County. They also run nutrition education campaigns, raise hunger awareness, and source nutritious food for distribution, all while supporting regulations that allow food pantries to operate safely. Want to help? Visit lafoodbank.org or call 323-234-3030 to volunteer or find a food bank near you. Together, we can ensure that no one goes hungry in Los Angeles County. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminds you that we keep us safe. The Live Your Life organization mentors young women, helping them break negative mindsets and see beyond their surroundings. Through career exposure and hands-on training, they're encouraged to think big, stay focused, and make positive choices. Founded by Nikisha Mama Boo Smith, who transformed her life to become a community leader. Live Your Life is changing lives, but they need your help. They're raising funds to keep their new building open and expand their programs. Your donations will support food, clothes, hygiene products, and holiday giveaways. Visit liveyourlife32.com. That's LIVEYOLIFE32.com to help today. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back. Sherri Bell is here, a labor activist. What do you make of that child labor comeback? I mean, we've talked about this before. Oh, and before I forget, there's a couple people in the chat saying they think that the attacks on the Tesla cars might be a setup, that it might not even be, progressives. It might be kind of like the supposed gunshots during Ferguson, which were never investigated. Right. They tried to blame it on BLM, and they tried to blame it on Mike Brown protesters, and yet they never followed up, which means it was definitely not us. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so interesting. But I think this idea of the return of child labor, all of these federal employees being fired. I saw a report on the layoffs at the Department of Education being mostly black people, which doesn't surprise me at all. Right. I know there's a talking point, DEI is only for white women. That's BS. Most of the people being fired under these initiatives are black.
Right.
What can labor do about what is labor doing about the return of child labor? I thought all these federal workers, they had unions, and many of them had union contracts, including the IRS agents. So where's big labor right now?
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. We're going to be having a conversation with like the vice president of the American Government Employees Association. That they represent like 800,000. That union represents over 800,000 people.
And that's the April 5th event.
Right.
1030 5350 Crenshaw.
Right. But they have been filing lawsuits. Actually, the lawsuit of that government employees union actually is the one that got those federal workers who were laid off in their probationary period to be able to come back. And so they've been attacking it from that way. There was a rally on this past Sunday about hands off our mail, right? They're trying to dismantle.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, the post office.
And that's good. Yeah, because DeJoy stepped down. He was already evil. Mm-hmm. He stepped down, or an evildoer. Let me not name call. That's kind of name calling. Anyway, he was doing evil. But anyway, he stepped down because they want to defund the post office so they can privatize it. Mm-hmm. But the post office, it doesn't cost the taxpayers anything.
Right.
It doesn't make a profit, but it's a public service that's self-sustaining. That to me is like the perfect public service.
Right.
It pays enough to cover its own costs. Mm-hmm. It's not meant to be a corporation.
Right.
There's so many places that don't have banks.
Right.
That don't have a place. People who don't have bank accounts that rely on it for money orders, mm-hmm. and then all of the mail services and the passport services. So defunding the post office is nothing but a privatization grab.
Yes, another bad idea that's going to disproportionately impact, first of all, poor people, right, in rural areas, elderly, disabled folks to be able to get their mail. But also it's going to impact the racial wealth gap even more, because about 29% of federal U.S. postal workers are Black. We are,
wow.
And so
like my granddad,
my great grandfather was a postal carrier as well. So so they had a rally. I mean, and they're doing things like labor is doing things, and I heard that it was a lawsuit in some of those red states that didn't participate in the lawsuit. Those federal workers were not ordered back to work. So people in Kentucky probably screwed right now, but when it comes to like the defunding and how that impacts the layoffs, I don't know how the union, could. I'll learn more,
Yeah. We'll talk about it after your conference.
Yeah.
On the 5th. And you know what? It's a good point about the lawsuits, because those are some of the only jobs that have had to be reinstated.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see if those reinstatements hold up. I'm hoping that this is going to drive white working class people back to labor, that not that they permanently left it, and that it will open our eyes as Black folks about unions, rather than just going for these sort of tropes about union bosses that you see in Hollywood.
Absolutely.
Remembering that unions are just people who are organized.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a lot of intentionality about defaming unions, because when you think about where the only leverage and power that the workers have when it comes to the power dynamic with the business and the workers is the unions. And so might they not be perfect, by no means. That's pretty much where we have the rights that we that are afforded to us because of the organizing, like the overtime pay, the 5-day work week, all those things were people powered. When you come to these states that probably are right to work states mostly, that have these child labor laws,
which is one of those deceptive terms. Right to work means they can screw the worker.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean you actually have a right to work.
Right. So there's not a lot of union power in those states where they're trying to bring back child labor. And child labor laws are a thing at the federal level. They were enacted for a reason. We have child labor laws here in California, and to roll them back will be to discount the reason why they were put in place those guardrails were put in place in the initially, right? Why you want to take a person out of school to be able to be worked and probably exploited, right? People, that's another exploitable workforce as well. Children, that's why they needed the protection and the whole set of laws to protect them.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, I've read a lot of stuff about how things were back then. Kids having their arms ripped off and, losing fingers in these factories. And to be honest, it's still happening now, but it's mostly happening with undocumented children who are working in these slaughterhouses, these meat packing plants, working with dangerous equipment. I guess they're deporting those kids, so they want to now do that to citizen children.
Yeah, it's nefarious. We have to really look in between the lines, see what this impact is really going to have. Who are they really deporting? What children are they really trying to employ? It's all smoke and mirrors. We got to dig for real information, because it feels like ill intent that's behind all of this. And who's to say there won't be immigrant children working these jobs?
Well, they already are. So
right.
And also we don't know if who they're actually deporting, and who's actually still working overnight in a meat packing plant. Right. I'm pretty sure the undocumented persons that were cleaning up, the Trump golf courses at night, in the middle of the night, probably won't get deported.
No, yeah, and it's very sickening to think that you want to deport working adults that probably been here for decades to employ children. That's your plan, really? It's a plan to make the rich richer, right? Because they already probably got plans to pay them less money and exploit them, and they know they're not probably gonna fight back because they don't have the time. So it's like,
yeah,
it's.
What was the number you quoted? Fahima saying a large number of black people are postal workers. We know that, but what was the number
it was about 28 or 29%.
Yeah, of postal workers are black. Yeah, that's one of those good jobs we get. That's how my granddaddy put my dad through school. Well, as far through it as he went.
Yeah. And my great grandfather bought a house. Migrated here from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and got a good union job.
It's important we forget those black folks who were lifted to the middle class, because I know a lot of us are still working class and under, but those who were lifted to the middle class, many, it was through unions.
Oh yeah,
the Pullman porters, the post office, and on it goes.
Yeah.
Sherri Bell, time flies when you're here. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, and thank you everybody out there for being engaged and being informed.
April 5th, 10:30 a.m. breakfast, 11 a.m. event, 5350 Crenshaw, LA Black Workers Center, Sherri de la Ghetto. Woo! Link in the bio.
Yes, thank you, Dominique.
News, traffic, and sports, and it's time to talk reparations. It's a Freedman Friday on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with 4 Things You Should Know with BIN News. 3 out of 4 Americans, including 60% of Republicans, see the Trump administration's use of a Signal group chat for military plans as a serious issue. This follows a breach involving the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic. Former NFL running back LaShawn Johnson faces federal charges in a dogfighting case involving 190 seized dogs. He faces 21 counts with a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine per count. The FBI says one of the top leaders of the MS-13 gang has been arrested in Virginia. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi says the takedown was a joint operation between the FBI, ATF, ICE, the VSP, and Prince William County Police. And rapper Lil Durk releases his album Deep Thoughts from jail, where he awaits trial for an alleged murder-for-hire scheme. The 20-track album features